Paddy, how's it going, man?
How's it going, Kozak? Are you well?
I'm brilliant, man. Brilliant. Absolute pleasure to meet you. Thanks for taking the time to do this. How's everything been for you, man? How's all this craziness treating you?
Good. In a way, I kind of always wanted this. I always wanted just an excuse to do nothing except focus on music, and I thought I'd never see the day. So I'm actually kind of happy that this is happening. I mean, obviously it's heartbreaking, and my girlfriend's overseas, so that's
Hmm.
obviously not good. But from a selfish musician point of view, it's like a dream come true.
You're
Every day I've got the guitar.
Every day you got to get to, you're not the first musician to say that, and I would also agree with you. I've become quite productive in my own space, as well because of this. And of course, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff to consider, and we are obviously considering it. And some people even felt guilty, going like, "Oh, I feel kind of weird saying this, but it's actually been going great." So you're not the only one that feels like that, man. I'm really curious about you, Paddy, because I was reading up a bit, and I'm really interested in sort of like, I guess, the gigs you've been doing and sort of you jumping between the States and Ireland. But first of all, I wanted to ask you, what got you into Irish folk music? What kind of got you into sort of specializing in that sort of genre itself? What kind of draws you to it? Is it being Irish? Is it the connection of being Irish, or was there something else that sort of pulled you in?
Well, I suppose not many would know, but I was born in Chicago,
Hmm.
Illinois, in the States. Grew up, moved to my Cullen, where I live now, when I was five. And my dad did construction. And so when the recession hit, we've had to move back and forth between the two countries.
Hmm.
Eventually, in sort of 2016, it was actually Paddy's Day 2016, which is a bit ironic. The one day that all the Americans come here, we went to Boston, moved
Went
there,
the other way.
and then all of a sudden I had a huge homesickness. I like, and it's so funny because anyone who's like friends with me, they were all like, I'm big into American country. I always tried to sing with an American accent and I sounded shit. Like I was just like, well, all my friends say, oh, it's awful. But I thought it sounded good because I still do have a growl for the American country music. But it wasn't until I started singing with my own accent that it just kind of clicked. And
Mm.
with the homesickness, I started learning more about Ireland and started getting big into Damien Dempsey and Christy Moore and just anything that was truly Irish that I could grasp onto. And then there was a video of me singing in the high school during my last year because I was kind of under the radar.
Hmm.
So I was like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out on a bang. So I sang A Pair of Brown Eyes by the Pogues.
Hmm.
That didn't really go viral, but the manager of a bar saw that.
Hmm.
She booked me for St. Paddy's Day 2 years ago. And ever since then, I've been gigging in the States like
Wow.
as often as I can.
That's amazing. And did you, so you were in Chicago at that time, and then you moved back to art. So you've been kind of jumping back and forth. Um
I've been jumping back and forth.
mhm,
So 2000 to when I was five was Chicago, and then it was
mhm,
Galway, and then in 2016 it was Boston,
mhm, mhm. Wow.
and then
Wow.
now I'm back in Galway. I've got one more year of college, and then it'll probably be States full time, probably.
Yeah. Is it like,
Never say never.
would you treat Ireland kind of as the base camp, the sort of camp where you just kind of come back to, and then chill out, work on songs or blah blah blah, and then the States to kind of work in, or like with regard to home, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, it's weird. Ireland's always going to be home, but I
Mm.
think I write more songs over in the States just because I'm kind of deprived of that feeling of home a little.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, I don't hate America. I think it's a great place. And in a way, because I know so many undocumented Irish, I feel like it's my duty to go over there and sing the songs of home because they can't really go home. Uh,
Mm.
and I wrote a song about that I'll release shortly, but now is not the right time because I don't want to, off put any vibes. We're in a dark time as it is, so I'm only putting out happy songs for now. But
Fair play to you, man. How do the, I guess, Irish audiences, it's a given, like they are drawn to the Irish culture and to Irish music, especially in places like Boston, right? So which is has a high Irish emigration, and a lot of people are related to the to Irish, right? So obviously people are, when you play gigs there, people react very emotionally. Do they react emotionally to it? Do they talk to you about themselves and their relationship with Ireland and stuff like that?
Um, yes and no. With the Paddies, it takes a few shots before the emotions spill out first, and then the puke from all the drink. But with the Irish Americans, they have this sort of a graw for Ireland that it, in some ways it's very nice, but then in other ways it's, the whole plastic paddy
Yeah.
ideal, and I don't need to speak to that because everyone can draw their own opinion there. But
Yeah. No, definitely. I guess it's kind of nice the way that Americans do try to at least relate themselves to Ireland in a way, even if it is extremely possibly abstract or not even realistic. I'm half Irish, but I am, I'm half Irish, and I'm like, oh, you really are half Irish? No way. It's like, how? What half? And he's like, oh, my great, 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 great. And 5 minutes goes by, and then you're like, okay, oh, amazing, because you don't want to be rude, right? But
yeah,
I guess you get a lot of that, right? That's what you mean.
yeah. But then there'll be other like complete ignorance as well, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not. You can't really blame them because it's
Mm.
not taught in the schools over there. I was lucky enough that I had a high school teacher over there, because I went to high school in the States for 2 years before I came back here for uni,
Mm.
and he was an absolute legend. It was this thing called AP Euro. So what an AP course is, it's like, imagine you're doing the Leaving Cert, but you also get college credits for it.
Okay.
It costs a bit of money, but I had to do it because of applying to Irish college without a Leaving Cert. There were all these American rules I had to follow. So I got that done. But in the AP Euro class, I was allowed to teach whatever I wanted about Ireland if we had any projects, and I would just tell the class things that they never knew. Like, there's a soap over there called Irish Spring that doesn't exist, Lucky Charms. I mean,
Oh yeah.
just all this random stuff. And then I'd be telling them about the history, because
Mm.
not a lot of people know about Irish history, about the Republican movements, about the partition in the North. They just
Yeah.
think it's this leprechaun land and there's pots of gold everywhere. You know what I mean?
That's mental. Yeah, okay. So yeah, because they get that from like the basic television, right? What you'd kind of call it, and perceptions are then built. It's funny because I joined a podcast group on Facebook, and there was Americans posting in it, and they're like, what should I? I'd love to have somebody on my show. Like they just posted it on their wall. Like, tell me a topic to see if it interests. And I'm like, well, and they're all Americans, talking about American-y things. Nothing against Americans, guys, by the way. Like Americans
Yeah,
are
no.
wonderful people. They're absolutely
Look
wonderful.
at
And the
look at my
countries.
guitar strap.
Yeah, there you go. So we're just
Yeah.
speaking anecdotally in for the majority of the case, but and I felt compelled to write. I was like, well, because I want to take an opportunity to kind of talk to people abroad as well, because I love the mix and match of culture and learning about different cultures and people's perceptions and perspectives. But I wrote. I felt compelled to write. I'm an Irish guy doing a podcast with Irish musicians, comedians, influencers. I want to go beyond and go culture. But I'd love to talk about Ireland to you guys. Tell us, talk to you about some of the stuff that let you, tell you if leprechauns are real, what it's like to be in Ireland. Are we always drunk? And I wanted to highlight some misconceptions and stuff. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody was interested. And I was like, oh, okay, damn. I thought they might have wanted to know this stuff. But that's the way it
Yeah.
is. But do you have any advice for like musicians that are like wanting to sort of travel, like anything from like how to keep your guitar safe and things like that? Because there's a lot of issues that come with traveling as a musician, right?
Uh, there is and there isn't. I would just kind of make sure that you treat your guitar more importantly than you treat yourself when it comes to traveling, because you can always kind of bog down, sit in a bad place. But if your guitar does not come in the overheads with you,
Hmm.
don't get on the plane, or try and put it in the gate check where they put the baby strollers. Because
Hmm.
if you feck it in under the plane, it's a bad mistake. Luckily, I fly Aer Lingus. They don't pay me. I wish they did, but I always put the guitar in the overhead bin, and there's never been any problems. Actually, one year I was flying with two guitars, and one of the guitars had to go in first class. So the guitar got first class, and I
And you
didn't. But
didn't.
at least it got the special treatment, you know.
That's mental. Wow. And
And
yeah, go on.
one thing, just while we're on the subject of packing stuff, because it came to my head. If you want to make sure, if you're using like a gig bag, right, and you don't have a hard shell case, first of all, tune down all your guitar strings to where they're flat, because the tension, the cabin pressure might make them snap. And it's also bad for the neck if they don't snap and it starts to bend a little over time. It's very minor, but it adds up over the years. Pack all your socks and underwear around the guitar to act as extra padding in a gig bag situation. That's a pro tip.
That's deadly. Amazing. There you go. I'm not a guitarist, I'm a drummer, so it's going to be even harder for me to bring any gear abroad. Well, very expensive, I guess, right? So it can
Pick
cost
up an
a lot.
old Bowron.
Yeah, I bought a shaman drum recently, so it's almost a Bowron. It's a little bit bigger, and it has just a big shtick, so you just hit it straight on. But I'm having some fun with that. Do you want to play some music for us, Paddy?
Yeah, so I suppose I'll do one of the songs that's on your Spotify playlist, just to keep things kind of on brand here. I'm going to start out with this Chinese traditional song. It's called Tuning. Goes a little something like this. Tuning, everyone. Tuning. It's an old pun there.
Yeah, I
I'm very
literally
partial
got
to
that
puns.
like so late there. So it's been a long day
Alright.
for me.
This is an old rebel song about a Cork band in the time of the Easter Rising. The night was dark and the fight was over. The moon shone down O'Connell Street. I stood alone where brave men first. Men have gone, they're God to me. My only son, shot and dumped. Fighting for his country gold. Fought for Ireland, Ireland. Harp and shamrock, green, white and gold. First I met was a grey-haired boy, searching for his only son. I said, old man, it's no use. For up to heaven, your son is gone. The old man cried a broken heart. Ending o'er, I heard him say, I knew my son was too kind-hearted. Knew my son would never yield. My only son shot and fighting for his country gold. Fought for Ireland, Ireland. Harp and shamrock, green, white and gold. Last I met was a dying, bending o'er, I heard him say, God bless my home in dear Cork City. God bless the cause for which I died. My only son, shot and fighting for his country gold. Fought for Ireland, Ireland. Harp and shamrock, green, white, and gold. Harp and shamrock, green, white, and gold.
Awesome. Great song. Great song. I heard the recording of that one as well. And you have some great songs as well up on Spotify. Where did you record your recent tunes? Was it in Ireland or did you record it in the States?
So I've recorded them all in Ireland except for the early demos. I would write them in the States and then I would record them properly here. Although I just bought an audio interface, given the circumstances, and I won't be able to get into an actual studio. So I've converted one of the closets in the house into sort of a studio.
You have a vocal booth.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Vocal booth, record the guitar in there. And then my new single, which is coming out on the 5th of June, which is a Friday. I haven't even announced this is coming out, by the way.
Here we go, exclusive.
Features none other than Steve Wickham from the Waterboys.
Wow.
So he's helped me out with that one. And we've got another band on there called The Finns. They do backing vocals for the track and banjo. And then Owen Shelley from Strings and Things, who you've interviewed before.
Yes, of course.
He plays drums. And then another Galway lad I know named Thomas Doherty did the bass. So it's a real kind of group effort, and we're all just trying to spread good vibes this summer. So that's called Summer's Coming Back Again.
Summer's Coming Back Again on June 15th.
5th.
June 5th. Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's a great lineup, man. That is really, really cool. Fair play to you. So I would love to play that track on the show, of course, you know. So do send that to me whenever it's ready to go. And I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to that. Anybody out there, by the way, because I know you have people from Boston tuning in, you've got people across Ireland as well, guys. So if you do have any questions for Paddy, do send them in. Because I'm sure, you know, people are quite disconnected at this time. So do feel free to ask any questions or make any comments about our conversation. You're more than welcome to. That's the beauty of this, you know. We're on 5 different platforms and anybody is welcome to come in and sort of connect with us, which is, it's awesome we have this thank God for this technology during this time. That's all I'll say,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
I couldn't see the lockdown lasting if we didn't have it, you know what I mean?
Have you done any live videos yourself through any of the media sources?
Well, I'm not sure what this is looking from the other side of the table, but my internet is quite bad here. So sometimes it's crystal clear and it works, but if I wanted to do like a proper live stream, I'd want to use the interface that I have. But unfortunately, the internet that I have at the house here, it's slower than dial-up and the average nation for the country of Liberia. It's 0.20 megabits per second, so it's fair shocking altogether.
Do you know what? It's not bad at all on my side, and you'll be able to watch back and see yourself, of course, after this. But no, it's not too bad. I had a chat with somebody from Ghana yesterday, and it was just a little bit worse. So no, it's honestly not bad at all. But I suppose, yeah, everybody has their own standard of how they'd want to sort of be perceived online, right? And there's nothing worse than a bit of a glitch and you're putting in work and putting in a bit of energy and stuff like that. How has the creativity been for you the past? Have you been how's the writing for songs and stuff? I know you say you write in the States more, so I guess have you had pen to paper at all in the last month or two?
Yeah, so the new song that I'm putting out, it literally came. So I write kind of sad, dark songs, songs of struggle, I should say, because like my whole thing is what got me through life is hearing other people's struggles, right? So I'm like, well, if I want to hear other people's struggles, chances are there's going to be people that can relate to me if I spin my side of the story. So a lot of songs that have been written are kind of slow and dreary, kind of Paddy Mór kind of stuff. Nonetheless, their music, you know, Christy's music is powerful. But this one, I was trying to write a happy song, and I just kept getting stuck in the road because I wanted to write like a sitting on the beach kind of a drinking beer, you know, girls, blah, 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 that kind of a song, you know, real happy. Everyone can listen to it. Everyone can kind of escape being stuck at home. I couldn't do it. So what did I do? I threw on a Hawaiian t-shirt. Swear to God, I don't know, is it a lucky charm or something? Threw on a Hawaiian t-shirt, and all of a sudden these lyrics just started pouring out of me. So I don't know what that is. Is it method songwriting? I've heard of method acting, but
It could be, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of conversations with, and similar. We touch on the same similar-esque sort of vibe with musicians and artists on this show, and it's an amazing thing because I'm learning so much about each, learning about myself and learning about people, of course, and artists, and how in-depthly, it's amazing. But we do touch on similar things now and then, and this would be one of them, whereby, it's about when one creates, it's an expression of themselves, right? So it's very difficult to write something that somebody can't necessarily relate to. So this time, the quarantine and everything, and there's a lot of the whole world as a one is kind of feeling a lot of tension, no matter what, even if one isn't focused on it, it's still there somewhere, right? That we know that there's suffering somewhere and stuff. So it might be quite difficult for the subconscious when one is writing music, right, to be optimistic or positive, even though it would make sense. And a lot of artists have said, have been questioned, like, why are you writing sad songs? He's like, well, I'll start writing happy songs when the world becomes happier.
yeah.
And that might be it,
Yeah, but I think from an entertainment point of view, you kind of have to bite the bullet and give people the happy songs, because if they want to get sad, I mean, just turn on fucking the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's definitely a time and a place for sad songs, but I think, now that there's no gigs, there's practically no social life, I think people want to hear songs that remind them of the pre-pandemic world, because it's crazy. I mean, out in February, I was celebrating my birthday out to the wee hours of the morning, and then a few weeks later, the whole world shuts down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was actually flying to Boston for my St. Paddy's Day shows when Leo was canceling everything. So I got Wi-Fi on the plane, and minute by minute, I saw event after event after event get cancelled. So by the time I boarded the plane to by the time I landed in Boston, the whole world had just basically said, yeah, we're shutting down temporarily. And of course, that's been prolonged significantly. And now I'm seeing more and more tours for 2020 are just getting scrapped, and everything's moving to 2021.
So you were on your way over to the States. Did I understand that correctly? While everything was being shut down?
Yeah. And I...
Tell us a little bit, did you just book a flight? How long did you stay in the States then at that stage after you flew in?
So I landed on the Thursday. I went ahead with my Friday, Saturday, Sunday gigs, and then on Monday, which I believe was Paddy's Day. I think Paddy's Day was the Monday. I flew home then, and I've been home in Galway since. So
there was no Paddy's Day in the States either, was there?
Well, not in Massachusetts. They shut down all the bars effective on Paddy's Day as well. But all that weekend, I still had gigs. Now, I will say most of them were kind of, except for the one pub that loves me over there. Shout out to the Crack. They were pretty packed, but everywhere else was just kind of empty because people were, I suppose, afraid, which I totally understand. But it's crazy, how it's all stopped. The last gig that I did was online. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is crazy. We've got Kendra Gu, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, asking when can we expect to hear some of the new stuff you're working on. So you have mentioned already 5th of June will be your next single. So Kendra, 5th of June, stay tuned on Paddy Mórs page. All of your social networks, of course, will be updated as soon as you have that tune. Please do send that tune to me, by the way, Paddy. I hope you're not frozen again. I think you might be. So let's see if we can get you back on, at least for another song. It would be lovely to close off with a song with Paddy. So I think we got you back. Yes, we have you. Yeah. We're good. Would you like to close off with a song before things might get worse? You never know. Okay, this is the world premiere now of the new song. So just imagine I've got Steve Wickham from the Waterboys over here, and the Finns over there, and Owen and Thomas. Amazing. Well, it's a pleasure to get the premiere. It's a pleasure to be here. This is Summer's Coming Back Again. Hopefully my Wi-Fi. Awesome. Take it away, man. Sitting on the big white sand, watching the waves rolling in. Outside the pressed against my lips, summer's coming back again. Wake up to see the bright blue mornings, feel the warmth against my skin. I can even hear the ice cream van. Summer's coming back again. Summer's coming back again. Summer's coming back again. Say goodbye to winter winds. Summer's coming back again. See the girls in their bikinis, getting tan from head to feet. I caught a schoolboy trying to take the beat. Summer's coming back again. Summer's coming back again. Summer's coming back again. Say goodbye to winter winds. Summer's coming back again. All the dads out on their lawns, mama truck, barbecue on. People everywhere singing this song. Summer's coming back again. Summer's coming back again. Summer's coming back again. Say goodbye to winter. Summer's coming back again. Summer's coming back again. Say goodbye to winter winds. Summer's coming back again.
Woohoo! Paddy Mór with Summer's Coming Back Again. The debut. We're getting it for the first time here on deMars Radio, which will be released on the 5th of June, which I'm really looking forward to hearing it with the full band and the full whack. That's going to sound so much, it's going to be so much fun to hear that now in a different scope. Paddy, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I wish I could chat to you a little bit more and pick your brain about this, but I guess we'll stay in touch now that we've sort of bonded over this live thing, which is lovely the way you can do that, isn't it? Just kind of make a mate over online through a conversation. Is there anything you'd like to sort of close off with and tell some of the people maybe back in Boston or across Ireland, anything you'd like to mention? You can replug your songs or anything like that. It's up to yourself.
So yeah, just I'm on Spotify, Instagram, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally Paddy Mór, M-O-R. You can find me anywhere. I'm on any form of social media except Tinder. Would you believe it?
You're better off, man. You're better off. Are you on Twitch?
Yeah. No, I'm not on Twitch, only for that, the live streams, as we've learned here. Doesn't really work for me.
That's all it's for, really. Amazing. I mean, you've got some great tunes already up on Spotify as well, and Facebook and Instagram, of course.
Looks like we cut out.
Oh, we got you back for the last. If there's anything else you have,
just want to say thanks to you for having me, and thanks to everyone for tuning in. And I'm going to start announcing the single kind of officially soon, but I'll leave a pre-save exclusively for the deMars events and entertainment people on the YouTube comments and the Facebook comments as well.
Absolutely amazing, Paddy. And listen, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and meet you, buddy. And maybe one day we'll meet each other physically as well.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a few pints in Darky Kelly's.
Definitely need to do that. Listen, take care of yourself. Have a great week. And nice to meet you, brother.
Sound.
See you later. All right, that was Paddy Mór, guys. Paddy Mór. What an absolute gentleman. And we got a couple of lovely tunes out of him there. So yeah, thanks so much, guys, for staying tuned in. We got a couple of tunes out of him there. And he's currently residing in Galway, waiting for all this to blow over. So yeah, absolutely awesome. So I hope he gets back. I hope everybody gets back to the gigging world sooner than later. I can see that, it's a beautiful thing how we're able to communicate with musicians here and listen to a bit of music through our screens. But as you guys know, there's no comparison than being there in physical form.